fueled by hope. Warm up. Reflecting on transformation, Romans 12 verse 2 encourages us to be transformed by the renewal of your mind rather than conforming to the world. In your leadership journey or personal life, can you identify one specific worldly way of thinking or reacting that you are consciously working to transform? What value, e.g., humility, patience, selfless service, are you hoping to cultivate through this renewal? The power of hope in action, the devotional emphasizes being fueled by hope. Think about a past leadership challenge or a difficult interpersonal situation. How did maintaining hope, or perhaps struggling to find it, influence your actions, decisions, and your ability to uphold your values in that moment? Embodying countercultural values, the document highlights several challenging Christian responses: blessing persecutors, associating with the lowly, and not seeking revenge. Which of these against-the-grain actions do you find most difficult to practice consistently as a leader or individual, and why do you think it's a particularly valuable, though challenging, trait to develop? Word. I appeal to you therefore, brothers, by the mercies of God, to present your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God, which is your spiritual worship. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect. Romans 12 verses 1 to 2. Read also Romans 12 verses 3 to 21. True leaders resist conforming to worldly pressures or following the many into evil, Exodus 23 verse 2. Instead, be transformed by renewing your mind, Romans 12 verse 2. Fueled by hope, present yourselves as living sacrifices, your spiritual worship. This empowers you to discern God's good, acceptable, and perfect will, upholding justice and integrity even when unpopular. Let hope guide your values and your distinct, principled leadership reflect your true devotion, standing firm for what is right. 1. Hope's counterintuitive strength. Bless those who persecute you, bless and do not curse them. Romans 12 verse 14. Leaders, when fueled by hope, we bless persecutors, not curse them, Romans 12 verse 14. This defies natural instinct but demonstrates profound strength and core values, as David modeled compassion for his foes, Psalm 35 verse 13. Why is blessing so difficult? How can this counterintuitive response positively impact your leadership influence and workplace culture? 2. Humble hope, choosing harmony over haughtiness. Live in harmony with one another. Do not be haughty, but associate with the lowly. Never be wise in your own sight. Romans 12 verse 16. Hope anchors humility. When we're driven by hope in Christ, we resist pride and live in quiet strength. Humility invites harmony, it brings us closer to those we might otherwise overlook. God sees greatness in the lowly and calls us to walk beside them. Rather than lifting ourselves up, we calm our hearts like a child resting securely. In doing so, we mirror Jesus, gentle, lowly, yet glorious. Who might be the lowly in your context today? What steps can you take to live in harmony rather than superiority? How does hope help you resist pride? 3. Hope-fueled honor, overcoming evil with good. Repay no one evil for evil, but give thought to do what is honorable in the sight of all. Romans 12 verse 17. Hope empowers us to rise above our instinct to retaliate. When someone wrongs us, our flesh cries out for vengeance. Yet Romans 12 teaches a radical response: honor over hostility, mercy over malice. God calls us not to return evil, but to live honorably before all. This isn't weakness, it's spirit-filled strength. We're told to feed our enemy, quench their thirst, and trust God with justice. Why? Because vengeance belongs to Him. In doing good, we reflect His mercy and invite transformation even in our enemies. Remember, we love because He first loved us. His love changes everything, including how we respond to evil. How does honoring others in conflict display Christ's love? Why is leaving vengeance to God better than taking it yourself? Who can you respond to today with kindness instead of retaliation? Application. Confession of retaliation over blessing, Romans 12 verse 14. As a leader, in what recent situations have I harbored ill will, spoken critically, or mentally cursed those who opposed or challenged me, instead of choosing to actively bless them as Christ calls me to? I confess my failure to be fueled by hope in these moments. Confession of pride over humility, Romans 12 verse 16. Where have I, in my leadership role, displayed haughtiness, considered my views or status superior, or failed to genuinely associate with and value those I perceive as lowly or less influential? I confess my tendency to be wise in my own sight rather than humbly living in harmony. Confession of vengeance over honorable action, Romans 12 verses 17 and 21. When have I been tempted, or succumbed to the temptation, to repay a perceived wrong with a subtle act of evil or a vengeful thought action in my leadership, rather than prayerfully considering how to respond honorably and overcome evil with good? I confess my lack of trust in God's justice and my own desire for retribution. Prayer. Confessing failure to bless adversaries. Pray for forgiveness for times when, as a leader, you've harbored resentment, spoken ill, or wished harm, cursed, towards those who oppose or persecute you, instead of actively choosing to bless them as instructed in Romans 12 verse 14. Ask for a heart transformed by hope to offer blessings. Confessing pride and lack of humble association. Pray for forgiveness for instances where haughtiness, being wise in your own sight, or a reluctance to genuinely associate with and value those perceived as lowly has marked your leadership, Romans 12 verse 16. Ask for true humility and a spirit that seeks harmony. Confessing conforming to worldly retaliation over godly honor. Pray for forgiveness for moments you've responded to evil with evil, sought personal revenge, or conformed to worldly patterns of handling conflict, rather than being transformed to repay with honor and overcome evil with good, Romans 12 verses 2 and 17, 21. Ask for strength to live out God's higher call.